So, let's talk about the term coup. It comes from French and basically means to kick someone out of power by force. Understanding this idea is super important when we dive into the world of political tricks and maneuvers across different countries. For example, the video rolls back to America's very first coup, which took place in Hawaii back in 1893. The US booted out a queen, all to protect its sweet sugar interests. This really set the stage for America's later interventionist playbook. Fast forward to 1909, and the US is doing its thing in Nicaragua, stepping in to keep a tight grip on its coffee bean investments. A new president that was making some changes that threatened American businesses, and you can imagine how that went down. As a result, the US meddled in Nicaragua, putting in a government that was all about American interests. This whole situation unfolded after American forces backed a rebellion, showing just how much influence the US had over politics in other countries. Then there's the story of Honduras, where an American businessman took matters into his own hands, using his private army to sway the government. This really illustrated how business interests and US foreign policy can get all tangled up, leading to some big political shifts that benefited American companies. Now, let's not forget about the 1953 coup in Iran, which really shows the US playbook of getting rid of leaders who threaten American economic interests. This intervention paved the way for a pro-Western dictator, and its impact on Iran's politics has lasted for decades. When Iran's Shah was replaced by Ayatollah Khomeini, it was a game changer. Alliances shifted from Western powers to religious leaders, fundamentally flipping Iran's political landscape upside down. In Guatemala, the CIA got involved in a coup against a democratically elected prime minister who wanted to reign in American corporate power. The repeated actions of the US government, especially through the CIA, show a clear pattern. They often prioritize American interests over democracy. Sadly, this usually results in pretty serious consequences for the countries involved. Moving on to the Vietnam War, this was a significant event that actually stemmed from an earlier coup. The American involvement here ended in defeat and major embarrassment on the global stage, showing just how unpredictable these interventions can be. And let's take a look at the US invasion of Panama in 1989. This was all about strategic interests tied to the Panama Canal, a crucial trade route. The military action was justified because of a specific incident involving American soldiers. Lastly, consider the US support for Afghan Mujahideen against the Soviet Union. This highlights how alliances can shift dramatically over time, leading to unexpected outcomes like the rise of the Taliban. It really illustrates the complicated nature of foreign aid and its repercussions.